I should mention that as far as tools go, the Givi instructions say you only need a couple of open box wrenches and a ring wrench, and then I think they show one screwdriver or one torque driver. I recommend that you have a socket set. I've got a torque screwdriver here. I've got a torque socket here. Now I think that the regular hex nut socket probably would work as well on the back. Here on the mount on the inside, you can see just barely peeking out that there's a nut, and you have to grab that. All right, here we are. We bought a nice set of Givi Outback Trekker aluminum side cases. Going to start the installation here. On the right hand or on the left hand side, we still have the original BMW mounting bracket in place. That's coming off. Already have the screws out from here and attached to the frame. Next is going to be the lower part of the mount, and you can see that it's tied in the back as well right here with this kind of compression bracket. If we move over to the other side, I've already removed the standard GS mount off of my R1200, and you can see that the top end of the BMW bracket now is occupied by a Givi strut suspension here, and I just have it floating right now. It's going to be attached down here on the frame by the brake pedal, and up here on the frame, if we can get a close-up picture, mounted to the main frame. Slightly bigger tube, so there's two different kinds of pads that are used. One will go in here and on the other side, and then the smaller ones will go on the smaller tube. And then back in here, there's a bracket that feeds through top and bottom. Okay, as I make progress, I'll shoot more of this video. So now we have the left side bracket off. This is the front of the bracket. You can see there where it goes around the frame. And here's the opposite end. We'll go ahead and put this back together again for safekeeping. Put the screws in there, store it, and put it back up. And if I decide to keep the bag, should I ever sell this, we'll go ahead and put these mounts back onto the bike. So now everything is off. We have the Givi frame here, mounting frame, and it's going to go in to this hole here, and that actually has a kind of a very thick looking washer in here that inserts, and then you use the screw and you end up sucking up on that. So I'll go ahead and mount that and then take a shot afterwards. Okay, so now we have the left side bracket on, again just hanging from the one pivot point. You will notice that the struts that attach to the frame, they are two different sizes. This here is the left hand size, and it has the muffler, and so you can see that it sticks out further than the right hand side. And what that also means is that the bags that I bought the 37 liter for the left-hand side, and I think it's a 42 liter. For the right-hand side, it's the bigger bag. So actually, when they hang from the back, they're going to look as though they're same distance off of center. Okay, so now here we are. We're attaching the mount to the large tube. You can see I've got it in here loose. Got one screw slightly attached up at the top. I'm going to go ahead and put the second. Okay, and just a quick look-see here to see how the bracket is attached to the frame. You notice in the back I've got a crescent wrench. You're definitely going to need a crescent wrench or a box wrench or a ring wrench to get back there. There isn't very much clearance. You're not going to get a socket driver back there. Take a look here at the other angle. Okay, this here is the right side mounted. The mounting points, 1, 2, and then 3. This right side is definitely the easier side, just because you don't have the muffler in the way. The muffler really kind of gave a problem with clearance and made it just a little bit more difficult, but certainly not impossible. As you can see, it is mounted. Okay, so now we're ready to join the two mounting brackets together. You can see here is one of the struts coming in. You see 2 torque head screws in here, and we're going to have to remove those, and we have a bracket that we're going to put in place, and then there's a screw hole here on this side as well. Probably can't see it too well, but there's going to be 2 large screws that go in there. So I'll be crawling down on the floor here for a while, and when I'm done, I'll show you the result. Okay, so we're coming in underneath the bracket, trying to tie the 2 units together, left side and right side. You see there's a strut there, and there's a screw hole in that tube, and then there's a small torque screw, 1 on each side, and then we've got the other mount. So we'll be removing those 2 torque screws. We have a bracket to put in there, and we'll reattach the torque screws, and then we'll put in 2 rather large bolts into the end of those tube struts. And when I'm done, I'll go ahead and show you a picture of the end result. All right, so I had the upper connector on the brackets in place here. Hopefully you can see that there. And then I decided, try this again. Had the upper bracket connector just in place there. Then I decided, well, let's go ahead and mount the rear bracket. I had to go ahead and remove the license plate holder because it had one of those little document hiders. And then we get a lesson learned. Apparently these bolts are not very sturdy because I over tightened them and broke them right off. So we're gonna have to replace that. Luckily it's the last one that I put in, and it's really easy to get to, and I think it'll be an easy replacement. So again, don't over tighten your bolts. And then here from the underside, I'll go ahead and button that up, and then hopefully we'll be able to mount in the bags. Okay, so here we are. Right side is bolted down. Got the cross brace in there. Had to get a little fancy with the license plate holder. I had removed it, and then you can see the reflector is in the back there. Coming around. See, this is all tied down. It's looking pretty good. From the rear, right now, it looks lopsided, but again, that's because of the muffler. So I think as soon as we get the bags on, it ought to look pretty even. Prepare for the bags. And here we are, two brand new Givi boxes. I'm calling them Givi. I've heard people call them Givi or Jiffy. I have no idea how the Italians pronounce it. Anyway, I think before I mentioned a 42 liter on the right. It's actually a 48 liter and then a 37 liter on the left. And you can tell that it's looking pretty sharp. If you look down the center of the bike, you'll notice it's looking pretty equidistant from end to end or side to side. Anyway, that's the bracket install for the side mount cases and the side mount cases. All in all, in a nice gentle fashion, it took me about, I don't know, maybe 2 hours. And of course, like anything else, the first time is the hardest. I'm sure if I were to do one again, it would be a lot shorter time. Thank you for watching. Okay, let's do a little walk around. I think the black was the right choice. I mean, aluminum, straight aluminum silver would have been nice too, but black was a good choice.